I love that. I love that music when it
I
comes
do
on.
too.
That's what.
I mean the background dancing.
All right. Well, this is part 3 of a special edition lab work with Coach D Lab and Coach Ya. We've been getting great feedback in the streets from people, coaches, parents, players, really enjoying what we're doing. So we had contemplated kind of doing a little bit more of a highlight segment, but I think there's a couple more things we can touch on and hopefully some information that we can give you guys that can be helpful, especially as we are coming into the early signing period. And a lot of guys are committing early due to the pandemic, which I completely understand. You know, you don't want to wait, and possibly not have anything. And there's just so much uncertainty of everything that's going to happen. But we'll touch on a couple of different things. So we're going to start. We'll jump right in like we always do. We don't like to waste a lot of time. And we're going to talk about some reasons why kids lose offers. Do you want me to go ahead and start off, or do you want to start off?
You can start it off, Coach. Go ahead and start it off.
All right.
This your topic. Start it off.
All right. Perfect. First thing is when you're waiting on an offer from a better school and another kid takes the offer. And Coach Ya hit on this, I think, on the first episode of this. Yeah. So when we talk about, do you want to wait and try to go to the highest level possible? Or maybe you have kind of a school that's been your dream school and you've been waiting on them to offer. They might have sent you a letter. They might have called and talked to your coach. But if you have not had direct contact with said school, they haven't talked to your parents, you haven't had personal conversation with the head coach and assistant coach, they have not said that we would like to have you come and be a part of our program, then you need to think about what's best for you and make a business decision, because that's what they're going to do. No doubt. So if you have offers from 4 or 5 schools, you probably have at least 2 that you feel good about. And if you like, if this is how it was explained to me by a college coach this past week, and I thought this was a good way to explain it. And I think, I've related this to dating as well. So if you have a school that you really like, the coaching, you like the style of play, some of their players, locale is good for you, whether it's close or far, you feel good about it. They have a program that you would like to study, or you might have some interest in. And if they took that offer away, or they chose someone else over you, you would be sick to your stomach and you'd be really upset, disappointed, mad that you didn't take the offer. Then you probably need to commit to that school. Yeah. You probably need to commit to that school. Now, if you would be okay with them taking someone else and you just not mark them off the list and you move on, then you're not ready to commit yet. That's my opinion. So let's give me one of your reasons, Coach Ya, why kids lose offers.
I think sometimes kids lose offers. Their parents help them lose offers.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
You're also recruiting the parents to the program. Mm-hmm. And this is not to scare parents away. This is not a knock against parents, because like I think I've said on previous shows, this is probably one of the most important decisions that your child will make. So you need to be there to help make that decision. Mm-hmm. But you can't be a parent that is a problem. You can't be the you can be loud, you can cheer, you can do that, but you can't be the parent that's always asking for something. And asking for something means playing time, or what about this? Well, he's the best player on his team. His team, his high school team sucks. His high school coach can't coach. All those things, those are things that hurt your child. They do. Changing high schools all the time, changing all the time. I mean,
Coach Ja, hold on, Coach Ja. You might be getting a little too real for some people right now.
But I want to be honest with them. I mean, that's what we're here for, to be honest with them.
And I'm gonna chime in real quick, and you're gonna go right back into it, because I love the way you're going. Okay. These conversations are the conversations that we're having in recruiting meetings. If you jump around from school to school to school, we think that you possibly will come to our school and transfer, because it's become a habit. It's part of your culture. It's part of your character. That's all I want to say.
Yeah. So, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, when you change schools all the time, that means you're running from something. Mm-hmm. The school or the coach is not always the problem. You know, AAU teams. I understand it's kind of the thing to do. I'm gonna go to this AAU team and I'm gonna go to the AAU team. It's something that we never did. We also didn't have the ability to do that when we played. So I'm not gonna go back and say old school because I'm not an old school versus new school guy. But
I am.
I know you are. You are. But at the end of the day, you can't keep changing programs because that means that, like you said, you may get to the school, get some adversity because you're gonna have adversity. You're gonna have adversity for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So you run from adversity, you're probably a person that I'm not gonna look at, and you can be talented. There's a lot of talented guys that transfer schools, they go here, they go there, whatever they hiding from. Well, they playing on the Nike circuit, or they playing on the Adidas circuit, or they playing on what we call the Chitlin circuit, whatever the case may be. You know, you can't keep changing AAU teams and changing high school teams and think colleges don't take notice to that. And that's just a fact.
We put that under, like when we describe you as a player, you know, height, length, can shoot it, but he transfers a lot.
Yes.
He changes AAU teams a lot. Do we want to take a chance of bringing that into our program? And you hit on something that I think is probably one of the most profound things that we've said on the show. What are you running from, and how can you have adversity? Because adversity is going to hit as a freshman, whether you're going to be shooting the ball bad, you might not be playing as well. Somebody might be kicking your butt in practice. You're turning the ball over too much. When that adversity hits, how do you respond to it? And what I think parents don't understand is the way that you're responding, the way that you're handling that adversity now is impacting your child moving forward in the future. So I'm always looking at the big picture. Yeah. So obviously, small picture, or, you know, short term, we want to see what's going to happen with our program. But to be honest with you, my thing is big picture. How are you going to handle adversity when life hits you as an adult? Yes. You lose your job. Yes. How are you going to handle that? Yes. Your wife, I hope this never happens, but your wife cheats on you. How are you going to handle that?
It's kind of deep.
Hey, but it's real life adversity is coming as an adult. Yeah. It's as an adult, it's coming. So how are you going to handle these little small things now? Because that's real adversity.
Yes, it is. And a lot of times, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to touch on parents. Hey, listen, I'm about to become a parent, which everybody knows. I'm about to become a parent here pretty soon.
Congrats.
Thank you. And I understand. I can say that now. I understand. Because that feeling that you get as a parent, you want everything to be perfect for your child. And that's okay. But you also have to understand that you're not going to be able to keep them away from adversity. And then you can't be the cause of a lot of their adversity. Mm-hmm. You know, and I've had these situations before where people talk about, well, man, his dad's crazy or his mom's crazy. And I'll try to take a step back and look at it from a different lens. Okay, why are they acting the way they are? What are they trying to hide from me about their child? And a lot of times they just don't know that what they're doing is hurting their child. Mm-hmm. Like they don't know that. And so parents, I'm speaking to you, sometimes less is better than more. Sometimes you have to sit back and look at things and let your child go through some adversity. Let him be coached. Oof. You know, a lot of times let him be coached. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying a coach should demean your child, curse your child out, things of that nature. You know, everybody, there's different type of coaching styles. Mm-hmm. If you don't like that coaching style and your child don't respond to that coaching style, okay, cool.
But try to find that information out early and make the decision prior to.
Exactly. And don't mess it up for your kids. And another one I want to touch on, I think we touched on a little bit last week, okay, is Twitter. You know, social media. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we look at social media as coaches. You got highlights all the time. You know, it's all about you. Mm. And I understand you're a kid. It's social media, but it's all about you. Oh, this is what I do. You know, you dribbling between your legs 72 times, 78 workouts with whoever your workout guy is. You know, me. We take a step back and look and like, I don't know. Because that is the perception that you're giving off. You got to understand, you're giving off the perception of you on your Instagram and your Twitter. Like, if you're saying that you want to go to college, it's different. You become different now. You become different than everybody else. You can't be a normal kid, especially if you want to go to the highest level.
You're under a microscope.
Exactly. So this microscope that you're under, you have to be careful what you put on there. And I'm not talking about the bad things. I'm even talking about just highlights all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I got 1 million retweets. Look at these retweets. Retweet me. This me killing. All those things, all those things are being looked at by college coaches. They are. And I'm not saying don't post your highlights on Twitter. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying be careful, like putting too much on social media about me. Because me is the killer of team.
No question.
And coaches, that's what coaches look at. Because they're evaluating, especially during this pandemic. They're going to have to do a whole lot of homework without seeing you live. And Instagram or Twitter is one of those things. That's why all those coaches follow you. Yeah. They don't follow you because they want to hit what a 18, 17, 18, 19-year-old, or what, not even that, 15, 16, 17. I don't want to know what you're doing on your day-to-day basis. But as a college coach, I do. Because I'm about to bring you into my program. So I got to know, what you think, how you react to something, because, we put everything on social media these days.
We're doing it to gather intel. We're not doing it for likes. So we're trying to find out who you really are, because when you have your conversations with us on the phone, you're probably going to be a little guarded. You're going to be a little bit more reserved on what you say. But for some reason, you guys know we follow you, and you still say crazy stuff on social media, curse words, talk about girls, have pictures of you doing crazy stuff, a picture holding money up. Like, come on, man, what are you doing? Don't take a picture of holding, flashing money. Like, yes. What are you doing? What are you doing? It doesn't make any sense.
I think you said it best. You're under a microscope. And just understand that microscope that you're on. And even as the parents, because parents, you're being recruited too.
You become your in-laws. So you're becoming part of the family. When we bring the kids, you're part of the family as well. So if we don't like the way you handle your business and we don't want you as part of our family, that might impact your child.
You can't be a parent that's always talking about his team and his coaches, because when you go to college,
that's us. Now you're talking about us.
The section that you sit in is the parenting section.
Yeah, y'all are all together
by yourself. You're all together. So if you're a parent that, you always talking about his teammate, you're always talking about his coaches, hey, you got to be careful. You got to be careful who you recruit to your program, because there's college coaches. And if you guys don't ever remember, if you guys don't ever listen to anything I say, college coaches, we recruit our own problems. We know what our problems are.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we try to stay away from them. So sometimes we try to stay away from those parents who are, I'm not saying don't be a helicopter parent. I'll just put it out there.
Yeah.
Don't be a helicopter parent. Sorry, we got a little long-winded on that.
No. But all of that goes kind of with one segment. I was going to say, don't get in any major trouble in school. Whether that's anything with alcohol, drugs, fighting, any major trouble. Your social media, you just hit on, that was great. Character issues. If we see you arguing with coaches, arguing with players during games, arguing with coaches at practice, getting in little scuffles and stuff in the hallways, if we get wind of that stuff, we're probably not going to bring you in. And then the other big thing I want to make sure we touch on is if you're getting off early, freshman, sophomore year, maybe even early junior year, and you just don't get better. You just don't improve. You stop getting better. You get content. You're happy you got the offers. We're paying attention. You're still being evaluated. Just because you are offer early, know that we are still evaluating you. And if you don't continue to progress, we have offered other people too. And if they're continuing to progress and they're getting better and we like their energy and their character, we're going to recruit them hard. And if they take the offer first, we're going to take them. That's a huge part of it. So know that going in. Next thing we're going to do is research your program. You touched on this last week. Go ahead. In your mind, I want you to, you're a parent. Now, this is great. So you're a parent. Your kid is about to go to college. I love this. I love that you're a parent. Now, this is great for me. Now, what your child, you about to have twin boys, is that correct? I don't know if you want that out there. It's out there now. My bad. I just threw it out there. All right. So one of them or both of them are really good. You want to go, you got 3 or 4 schools recruiting them. How are you going to research those 3 or 4 schools to make sure that the program fits them as players and fits you as a family?
For me, I think when you're researching the program, first off, you got to find a program where they have a degree in something that you like. period. Because everybody's not going to the NBA. And I think you say it all the time. You know what I mean? You got to be a pro in something. So whatever that is that you like, find out what it is you like and see if that college offers that. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you research programs. Player development. Everybody wants to talk about player development. Everybody wants to talk about, player development, this, player development, that, player development, that. Okay, so just say you're a point guard. Have they developed their point guards? How do they develop their point guards? Have they had good point guards in the past? You know, who's doing the player development? You know, this is no knock on older assistant coaches, but who's out there working with the guys? Like, who's out there working them out? Who is the player development guy? Okay, coach, how do we get better? What are you doing to get better? So, because the head coach ain't getting out there working you out. There's not many on the
and if he's telling you that he's lying, now he will pop his head in. He will oversee it. He will make sure it goes the way he wants it to go.
And I'll say this: I've had head coaches get in there and work with guys on their free throws. You know, get in there and fine tune the shots up. But they're not going to be the ones chasing down the rebounds. They're going to have somebody else in there. So I think in researching the program, you should understand that. Okay, you have to, like, I think you touched on this earlier today, and I'll let you elaborate on it. You have to go to the practices to see how they are playing and how they practice and how the coach is coaching. And when I say go to practices, I mean go to a practice in the preseason, go to a practice in the middle of the season during conference, and go to a practice right before postseason. So that cuts down on all the offers because you can't go see all those schools. So you need to cut your list down, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Cut your doggone list. Cut your list down. Get the schools so you can actually evaluate the schools and evaluate the program that you're going to. So, and I'll let you elaborate on that because that's one of your key points.
Man, I love where you just went with that, and you just gave them some real stuff. So I hope they're paying attention to you. So I didn't even have that in my breakdown because you had different segments, because practice in the beginning of the season is very different than practice during the season, and definitely going for as far as you're going to postseason. Early in the season, you're going to be harder on guys. You're more demanding because you're trying to kind of set a tone and a culture for your group. And you really don't know what you have yet because each team is different individually. Unless you have a veteran group or veteran-laden team, you're kind of trying to feel them out. Now, when you get in season, you're not going to practice them quite as hard typically because you're trying to save their legs. You're just making sure that you're touching and sharpening things, making sure that the scouting is correct. You know what you want to do offensively and defensively to counteract whatever the opposing team is doing. Now, once you're in the postseason, if you're in postseason, everybody's happy for the most part. Now you're really making sure nobody gets hurt. You might be adding some wrinkles here and there. You're keeping everybody loose as a group because you know the more loose they are, the more comfortable they are, the better they're going to play. But I do want to touch on one thing. We're in the pandemic. So you can't probably get to the practice because of whatever rules and regulations the school have. You probably can't get there this year.
But guess what? They practicing. They film practices.
They can send you film. There you go. Boom. But we also want to make sure there won't be a pandemic forever. So this is also for younger parents. Hopefully we have younger parents watching. The advice he gave, when everything opens back up, hopefully that's next year, you need to do exactly what he just said. The earlier, the better. Because even if you don't end up going to that school, it's actually good for your child to see what a college level practice is like and wrap their mind around they're not working hard the right way. They don't understand what level they have to play at to get better. The earlier they see it, the better. That's why a lot of college coaches' kids or NBA players' sons have an advantage because they're getting to see that firsthand early. So that was great advice. And I would add, see an individual instruction session, not just practices, because everybody says they want to get guys better. They can get guys better. So give me some tangible statistics to show me how you've gotten guys better. What does that mean? If a guy came in shooting 29% from three as a freshman, did it jump to 32 or 33 as a sophomore? By the time he left as a senior, did it get to 36, 37? No, I want to see those tangible numbers. Don't just tell me you get guys better. Show me something. If he averaged 7 points as a freshman, was he able to average 15, 16 as a senior? That means you got those guys better. And it can't be one time, because one time can be an anomaly. Some guys just come in and work their butts off and they're going to get better whether you do anything or don't do anything. But if you have multiple guys doing this, then it's probably a combination of the coach recruiting the good players who have a good work ethic, but also doing something structurally with them to get them better. Those are all questions and information that you need to ask for and be provided, as well as this year in the pandemic, getting film of those individual instruction sections, getting film of those practices so that you can see how everybody interacts with each other, what kind of drills they're doing, and if the drills they're doing coincide with what they're doing when the game comes. Does that make sense?
Yes. I mean, I think the first thing you have to do, and I think this is going to lead into our next segment, cut your list down, man.
Yeah.
Cut your list down. Because you can't evaluate all those schools. It's not possible to evaluate all those schools that you put up there. Okay, you get your first 20. I got my offers. You want to make your little, your graphic. Cool. Hey, man, get in there and cut your list down as early as you can to the schools that you really, really like. Okay. Who do I like? Okay. What do they offer education-wise? Okay. Is it close to home? Is it far away from home?
Does that matter? Because that might not matter. But you need to know that. That should be part of your thought process. Pros and cons.
Does it matter? Okay. If I have to stay here 4 years, can I live here for 4 years?
Before you move on, I think you should look at it as you're going to be there for 4 years. If you leave early, everything goes great. Because I think that becomes a mental stumbling block as you get there if you don't leave after freshman year, or you don't. Like, you shouldn't even go in there thinking you're going to be there for 4 years. And if things go better than that, then it's a bonus. But in your mind, when you're choosing a school, choose a school for 4 years, please.
Yes. So then you have that. Okay. So you're going for 4 years. Okay. Let's say I'm here for 4 years. Okay. What type of programs do they have outside? So I don't go to the NBA. Is it in a town that has an Amazon, like Seattle? You know, University of Washington, Amazon recruits a lot for them, you know, at their corporate office. Places like that. That's how you should be looking at when you get ready to cut your list down. So I know it's all basketball, you know, yes, you're going to school for basketball. Hell, I went to school for basketball. I'll be honest with you, but I got my education in the process. Okay. So I'll be honest. You know what I mean? But as time went on, I had a great head coach in Ernie Kent that made us do programs that taught us how to tie a tie, that taught us how to do interviews. If you have coaches, and I may step on some head coaches' toes. If they don't have programs in place to help you after basketball, that's not a program you should be going to. Period. If they're not teaching you things to get you ready for life, you shouldn't be going to that program. And I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. I don't care how big of the name the school is. And I don't care if you think you're going to the NBA. Because the NBA, hey, if you do make it to the NBA, you start playing when you're about 35, 36 years old. If that. It's short-lived.
If that.
You got to be able to survive after basketball. And you can get those tools in college, because I got it. I learned how to tie a tie. When we got on the plane, we got on there in coat and tie.
We did too.
We did interviews. He taught us how to do interviews, because he said, hey, man, you're going to get interviewed one day. Taught us about sex education. Taught us about a whole lot of things so we could be prepared for life after basketball. So, and I can go on and on and on, man. I mean, this was kind of our little topic. How do you cut your list down? So you want to add to that?
No, man. No, I think we got to go off topic. I mean, we got to just talk about what you just hit on, because I've been in so many recruiting meetings, talked to so many kids. Those kind of questions very rarely come up. What programs do you have, coach, that are going to set me up for life after basketball? We used to have a graphic to show how many Fortune 500 companies were in, you know, a 20-mile radius, 30, like whatever. Yeah. And it never drew any attention. They wanted to see how many pros we had. Like, you're going to be a pro in something, but regardless if you're a pro or not a pro, the Fortune 500 companies that are around, the relationships that you can build are actually more valuable to you. Who are you going to come in contact with on a regular basis? And are you going to, we talked about this last show, are you going to learn to network? So whatever school you go to, you're going to be around some alumni and boosters. And this is a weird topic, because the persona and the image that people have is alumni and boosters are going to do illegal stuff. And to be honest with you, I would say 98% of the alumni and boosters I've been around are just really nice people that went to the school and just love the school. Yeah, they just love the school. That's all they are. So But let's say they're head of an accounting firm or they're CEO at Coke. You need to start building a relationship with them, not to get anything illegal. That's not part of what I'm talking about at all. But can you get an internship with Coke? If you want to be an accountant, can you get an internship at the accounting firm? And a regular internship that anybody else can get, not a special internship where you get paid $52 an hour. But if their regular internship is their regular internship might be $19 an hour. It might be a hell of a job. But if you don't talk to them and have those conversations with them and start building your resume for life, you're missing out on the opportunity. Old people say this all the time. I always thought it was the weirdest thing, but now that I'm getting older, I completely understand it. Closed mouths don't get fed.
At all.
They don't get fed. And what does that mean? As you meet people and you get introduced to people and you get in certain situations and certain scenarios, open your mouth, ask questions, get to know people. You will be shocked and amazed. There are really good people in this world that are successful, and they'll help you if you ask them or you talk to them,
went to the school,
or you show some interest in them. Yeah. They're happy to talk to you.
Yes,
they're happy.
They're excited.
Excited.
They love it. I mean, and I'm not talking about the starters. I'm not talking about the star. I'm talking
anyone.
About you can be the 12th man on the team. They're just excited that you're a part of their program, and they view you as family.
Exactly.
I think a lot of times we get caught up in this. Oh, it's entertainment, this, that, and that. When you're on college campuses, for the most part, those people on those college campuses, their pride runs deep for their school.
Deep.
I mean, Darryl, we talk about it all the time. I graduated from University of Oregon. I think University of Oregon can beat anybody.
Yeah.
Unless I'm coaching at the opposite school and I still want to beat them, but then I want them to be there, win every other game. Yeah. Because that's where I went. That's where, I'm true to the University of Oregon. Just like you're true.
Blood, sweat, and tears. Blood, sweat, and tears.
Yes. You know what I mean? So I think parents need to encourage their kids to talk to alumni the right way about the right things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there is life after basketball. And that's the scariest thing for me, because I have some friends that I'm very dear and close to that played professional basketball, made a whole bunch of money. They made a lot of money. They made a lot of money. I mean, they made a boatload of money.
No question.
Now at 35, 36, 37, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of that was because they didn't build the right relationships in college. So now they're just like, man, I don't know what to do, because they have nothing else to do. Because when we go to college, we kind of just major in basketball. You can't just major in basketball, man.
Not taking advantage of the opportunity that's right.
You got to take advantage of this. You got to take advantage of basketball, man. So I know we're kind of running a little long here, but that was good. Now I do want to touch on one other thing when cutting your list down, because I mean.
No, go ahead. No, we need to talk about this. Go ahead.
Relationship with the coaches. Okay. So what is a relationship with the coaches? Okay. How is your relationship with the head coach? But in order to have a relationship with those coaches, you have to talk. The student athlete has to talk.
Ooh, you said something there.
Everybody want to talk about, I need to have a relationship with the coach, you can't build a relationship if they call you and you don't answer your phone. Or when you come on a visit, you just sit there and you sitting there with your arm folded, and you're not trying to get to know your head coach or your assistant coaches. You really need to get to know your assistant coaches, because that's probably who you're going to spend most of your time with, depending on the program that you go to. If you're a forward, guard, a lot of times, you got a bigs coach, you got a guards coach, things of that nature. So I won't elaborate on that. And the last one is, this is a good one, support staff and managers. Mm-hmm. So when I get ready to go and I'm going to look at the school and I'm cutting my list down, how hard are the managers and the support staff working that's going to be doing the rebound? Because if I'm a guy that likes to get in the gym at night, I need to be able to call one of those managers, yo, man, I'm trying to get in the gym, and they need to be there. If you're trying to cut your list down, look at that. Because if you're a guy to say you want to work hard, you want to get in the gym, everybody got access to the gym now. Everybody got a key code. Everybody can get in the gym. That's nothing. Okay, well, who's going to be there to rebound? Who's going to be there to get in there to work with me? Are those guys hard workers? When you see them in practice, are they intense? Are they staying after, getting shots up, things of that nature? Stop looking at all the glitz and the glamour. Okay, how many shoes they get, how their uniforms look. It's North Carolina, it's Duke, all those things. Hey, man, you need to look at some of the insides and the inner workings of a program when you're getting ready to cut your list down. in my opinion. And that's coming from a guy that's done it at every level. And I mean that at every level, whether it's D2, low major, mid major, high major plus. So whatever it is, you need to understand the inner workings of the program, get to know the coaches, get to know support staff, all those things. You need to be actually paying attention when you're getting ready to choose these schools. And I'll go back to this. The only way you can do that is if you cut your list down. You can't have 20 offers. You can't be sitting there with 20 offers for 3 months and, I'm going to cut it down to 11. I'm going to cut it down to 13. Hey, man, cut your list down. You know the schools that you want to go to. Evaluate them and really, really evaluate them. And then you can make a choice. That way we won't have all these doggone transfers. So I got a little passion there.
I was about to say, I don't know if y'all felt that energy. I just felt. Boy. Woo. Okay, so I want to touch on a couple of things that you just said.
Sorry about that.
No. That's fine. That's fine. Hey, we need that because that's something obviously that you've dealt with and you've seen, and that's something that you're trying to help guys understand and get better. It makes complete sense. So a couple of things I want to touch on. The manager thing. I think that's a great point and a point that people don't pay attention to. I look at it a little bit different. If the managers feel that the coaches respect them, the players respect them, and there's a good culture in the program, I think they're going to work hard. So that's why I want to see how the managers are working in practice.
That's true.
If it's a bad culture, the coaches don't even know their names, the players throw their sweaty stuff at them at the end, they're bad guys, then how can the manager put his heart and soul into it? He can't. Exactly. Because he's a human at the end of the day. So you can kind of tell what kind of culture you got when you see the managers, support staff, the energy, the enthusiasm. How loud is it when you walk in the gym? Is everybody involved? Is everybody engaged? Yeah. That's a good program. If everybody's engaged, that's a good program. That's the kind of program you want to be a part of. So that's first and foremost. Yeah. All right, that's how I look at that one. What's the point you touched on before? What's the one? Because I wanted to say something, but you got so passionate about the last part I couldn't. What was your point before the managers?
The coaches, getting to know the coaches.
Not answering your phone, not answering your text is the biggest way to lose an offer. We didn't even talk about that earlier. I don't know how we didn't do that, but that's the biggest way to lose an offer because your middle ground or your lifeline to the head coach is the assistant coach that's trying to do his intel and build his relationship with you. If I'm calling you and I'm texting you and you're not responding, I'm going to do one or two things. I'm going to say you're an a-hole. Coach, we can't recruit him. He's a bad kid. Kid never responds to me. I don't think we should recruit him. Or I'm just going to make up some stuff, say you're bad. You want to go somewhere else. I don't know what I'm going to do. But what I'm not going to do is keep playing cat and mouse with you when it's another kid who's just as good as you, maybe even better than you, that responds instantaneously every time I call him, every time I text him. So know that right away. We're recruiting other kids. If you're not responding and they are, we're going to stop recruiting.
Yeah.
All right. Second thing is, if you're not responding to us, the other assumption we make is you don't have interest in us. Because if you did, why would you not respond to us? It doesn't even make sense. If you liked our program, you like the way we do things, you liked our conversation, you possibly could want to come to our school. When I send you a message, why would you not respond to me? That doesn't make any sense.
Most coaches are not going to want to talk to you long. Trust me.
It's going to be in and out because we have other things to do. We have our regular life with our regular family. We got other kids we got to recruit. Plus, we have our current team because they want to feel as if they're, stepchildren. They need the most energy. They're here. They're part of the program. The last thing with that is, if I'm calling you and texting you and I can't get you on the phone now, I'm probably going to have the same problem if you finally decide to come here. And we don't do that. That's one thing we don't do. When we call and text you and you're on the team, you're in the program, we expect a response. I mean, we should be hitting send. It should be something coming back right now.
5 minutes. Most of the time you get 5 minutes. Head coach give you 5 minutes.
You better respond to us. So why would I, again, he said it earlier, why would I bring problems that I already know about into the program when I can get somebody just as good, just as talented, that has less issues? So know all that. The last thing I want to touch on, we didn't get division. Go to games, not to see how many people, if the stands are packed, not to see how nice the uniforms look, not to see how many shoes the kids got on, if they got headbands on, all that stuff.
How many
go to
videos did you take?
Go to the game and evaluate the coaching style and the players. How did they respond in games? Because I don't know if Coach Jod tell you this, but I got coaches who I work with that are one way in practice and a totally different way in the game. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Whole different personality. Like, it's like another person. It's confusing. They're totally different in the game. So you need to know that they might be happy and jolly, come talk to you at practice, making jokes, confident, letting all the assistants run everything. Practice runs great. They get in the game. They want to control everything. They're cursing everybody out. They're mad at every turnover. You need to see that. And I'm not saying that's a bad style because it works for some people. And some kids need that to be on edge to play well. Like, it works for some kids. I don't want anybody to think that's a negative thing. But if you know that style doesn't work for you, you need to know that and evaluate that and pay attention. You need to see how the managers, GAs, everybody interacts during the game. Is everybody cheering? Is everybody being energy givers? Are people pouting? Are people fussing? When people come out the game, are they cursing? They go sit at the end of the bench. Does everybody give high five when they walk by? You need to pay attention to all. That's the cultural stuff you need to see when you go to the games, not just the rah-rah aesthetics and get all excited. Know what you're looking for when you're doing your research.
I want to touch on one last thing because I know we got to get into our highlights and the guys of the week. But understand something about player development, okay? So when you go somewhere and you're evaluating a school and you're looking at player development, okay? So player development, most of the time when you go to a school, the player development is going to be centered around how they play. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to be an individual player development for you.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be pretty much your individual instruction is going to be the movements of the offense of that program. And you have to understand that when you're going to look at player development. So if they're a program that specializes in getting bigs the ball, and you're a guard that want to shoot the ball all the time or whatever the case may be, which is fine, you probably shouldn't go to that program. So when you're looking at it, there's a lot of people say, oh, player development. Okay, what is player development to you? So if player development is you getting your individual game right, you need to go to the league or the G League. Because whatever school you go to, they're going to help you with your shot in the offseason. If you need to get your shot together in the offseason and get better with your shot, get your free throws better, get your handles better. Yes, in the offseason, they do work on that type of stuff. But for the most part, whatever offense they're running or whatever their style of play is, that's going to be what their player development is. Simple. So I think parents need to kind of understand that when they're thinking about player development, because I think sometimes parents and kids look at player development as, okay, we're going to get the cones out here and we're going to work on the 72 dribbles into a move. That's not player development. Now, that's getting your skills better. Fine. If that's what you need to do to get your skills better, things of that nature, that's some things that you're going to have to do with that manager I talked about, if that's what you want to do. But most of the time, player development in school is conducive to whatever offense they're running.
Well, no coach is going to let you to do 72 dribbles into a shot anyway. So if your trainer's doing that, where if you're taking more than 7 dribbles before you take a shot in your individual, whatever your trainer is, he's hurting you.
Oh, you give him 7?
Or she's hurting you.
You give him 7?
it's no.
Today. You've never given. That's why I said
no, because I think it should be 3. But I'm nice. Y'all get mad at me. Y'all say I'm too mean all the time, so I'm trying to be like nicer. It's the version of me. Okay. But in real life, you're gonna have 3 or 4 dribbles to make a play and make a decision. So your trainer should be helping you make a play or make a decision in 3 or 4 dribbles, or they're hurting you. Make sure you tell them that. Trainers, if y'all watching this, 3 or 4 dribbles, you know good and well they're not gonna let them take all those dribbles before their shot. So you're just killing the kid. All right, we got some other stuff we got to next week. As always, this becomes a great topic, but we got to try to move on. We're trying to keep the shows a little shorter so we can keep everybody's attention. Our first player to highlight, Bruce Thornton. From Milton High School. I like Bruce a lot. So I was able to coach Bruce at a hoop scene camp a couple years ago. Okay. And I didn't even know who he was. You know, he was a young kid. You just luck of the draw. You get a kid on your team. The kid just had a great feel for the game. That's a big time move right there, by the way. And that's the one thing. If he starts making jump shots consistently, lights out. I'm just telling you right now, it's going to be a long night. But what he does do every single night is he defends, He's tough. He has a game. And people laugh when I say this. Bruce is trying to win every game he's a part of. And people say, like, what is it? Everybody's not trying to win. Some people out there trying to see their name in the paper. Some people are trying to make highlights. They're trying to make the crowd ooh-ah. Some people are trying to get media clips. What Bruce Thornton is doing is he's trying to win the game. If it takes getting a steal, he'll get a steal. If it takes driving to the lane, throwing up a lob, he'll throw the lob. If it takes getting to the rim and bully balling, he'll get to the rim and bully ball. Whatever it takes to win, he'll do it. Whatever it takes to win. That's my biggest plus on Bruce Thornton. He was like that at camp when I coached him. Very quiet, very humble. I really like the kid. I think he's a winner. That's the biggest thing I got to say about him.
He's a winner. He's gonna win. He's gonna win wherever he goes. I tell people this all the time. Okay, he may not be the most athletic, he may not be the fastest, whatever the case may be, but he's a guy when he get ready to go and he step on a college campus floor, he is going to win. Whatever team he's on, he's going.
And he'll find a way to get in the game.
Yeah. So.
And that's who you feel good coming out the locker room with. That guys who are ready to win.
My next guy, he's Scoot Henderson from Kell. He reminds me so much of a guy that I coached at the University of Alabama in Colin Sexton. He's very, very explosive. Has a great first step, strong. You know, he passes the look test, long arms, good strength, great body. What I really like about him, what I've seen is the improvement in his jump shot. I can tell that he has been working on his jumper. Is it where it's going to be down the line? No. Is it where it needs to be to get to the level that he wants to get to? Probably not right now. But guess what? I can tell that he is working on it. And there's been a couple of workouts that I've gone to with Colin and Jared Harper, and he's been in that gym and he's been shooting thousands and thousands of jumpers. Sky's the limit for this kid. He's one of those guys you look at as being, you know, 1 and done, 2 and done. I'm not going to, count that right now because he's still young, got to choose the right school. But as in the climate we in today, when you look at him, he's a guy that's on the NBA. He's on the NBA radar just because of his measurables, his athleticism. And I think some of the things that he needs to work on are some of the same things that I told Colin that he needs to work on when he gets to college, just getting his teammates involved because he's such a good scorer. And it's not a bad thing. He just wants all the weight on his shoulders.
He wants to win. He's trying to win.
He's trying to win. And sometimes at the level, the further the level you go up, you got to be able to get other guys involved. And I think he needs to do a better job of that. But he's such a good scorer, man. Like, hell, if I'm coaching him, hey, man, go do your thing. The rest of y'all get the hell out of the way because he has that type of capabilities. But I'm really proud of the strides that he's made in his jump shooting because that lets me know that he's really been working on his shot.
What stands out to you and jumps off the film, off the TV when you watch him is the burst he has and the athleticism he shows in transition. I mean, it's different. Like you don't see it every day. So like these quick steals right here and the burst by number, like 11 didn't have a chance. And then he's finishing at the rim and his elbows in the rim. Like you can't teach that. So the jump shot, the feel for the game, you hope that once you have the other skill set, the other tools, you can teach him those things, and then now he becomes a special player.
Yep, big time.
Next guy we're going to go to, Isaiah Collier, Wheeler High School. One of my favorites. And his biggest strength is, it's funny every time I say these things, his biggest strength is he's a true point guard. Like, when we grew up, that was like not a strength. That was just like you played point, you knew how to play point, you were shooting. But now that's a thing. Like, most point guards want to score. And I don't want to get it too. He can score if he needs to. But what he loves to do is run the show, keep his team organized, make sure they're getting to their sets, and get the ball to the places he's got to get his scores in position to score. He can get to the paint. He has all the crafty finishes around the rim. He can finish with either hand. He can finish through contact. But look at the ability to pass with either hand, no looks. He can make long passes. He can make short passes. He can throw it with what people don't talk about, like he can throw it with the right velocity. Sometimes the pass needs to be soft. Sometimes it needs to be hard. He can throw a bounce pass when it needs to be a bounce pass. And those things are innate. We try to teach those things and we show you and we put on film, but sometimes you either got it or you don't. And Isaiah Collier, he has it. Big time point guard. I love the kid a lot.
No, I've liked him. I told his uncle Larry, who's also his coach, he is a big time player. I know one thing. When I get my job, wherever it's at, I don't care where I'm at, I'm off.
No question. You got to. I already offered him. I don't even have a job. I already offered him. I told him. I want you with me. I don't care where we go.
I don't care where we going, bro. No,
if it's pick up the NBA, college, wherever it is, I want you with me. I say, I got
you. The next guy, I kind of want to touch on him last week, but we kind of ran out of time. Kobe Davis from Langston Hughes. I really, really like this kid. He's only 6 feet, but he's a long rangy 6 feet. He's a guy that can really shoot the ball. He's a lefty, got good quicks. This is my first time really, really breaking down film and watching him. He got some stuff with him, man. You know, he can shoot the ball. He can get by you, quick in transition, attacks the rim, finishes plays. Obviously, he's a lefty because, you know, it's kind of hard to stop lefties because they're kind of awkward, but I like the pace that he plays.
Unorthodox.
Yes, I like the pace that he plays with, man. And I think this kid is really going to jump off the screen this year because I know last year you had some older guys that were in front of him or kind of carried the load a little bit more. He's going to have to carry the load this year, and I think he's been doing a good job thus far in the fall league. I really, really like this kid.
Kobe had a big reputation coming out early, and I think people probably put a little too much on him. He started as a freshman. Now he has some really good players around him. So he got to kind of sit back, play behind those guys, get better. And I think he's starting to come into his own. I agree with you. Definitely a guy we want to watch. Next guy I want to go into is Chance Moore. He is another guy, big reputation as a young kid. Maybe got a little too much notoriety too soon, had some injury issues, got healthy, and now is looking like the explosive athlete that people kind of had projected him to be 2 years ago. Yeah. So some people were down on him around the state, you know, for various reasons. But now when you see him, he's a big guard. He's making shots consistently. You can see he's doing it off the dribble. That play right there,
big time.
That's a high major play. When you see a kid off the dribble, hesitation into a step back, and then now he catches it, hesitation, attack the rim, one dribble, and he's dunking it, and the guy's contesting. It's like we talked about with Scoop. Either you can do that or you can't do that. It's hard for us to teach that. So we can give you a plan, we can give you structure, but if you can't make the play, you can't make the play. I mean, look at the ability to read the passing lane and then rise and finish off of one dribble. So, you know, hopefully now he's starting to come into his own. It's a good program he chose. With that size, that athletic ability, and if he continues to work on his game, he has a chance to be a special player. We had to show him some love because I think he's played really well in this fall league.
Well, and I'll just piggyback on that just a little bit because I know we're kind of running out of time here. He could be a pro.
Has a chance.
If he figures the other stuff out. And I think I think sometimes what happens is we put a little bit too much pressure on kids and they don't get the opportunity to kind of grow into their own. Because he had a lot of hype coming out young. So now we're going in there, we're looking at him, we're expecting him to be Jaylen Brown right off the bat.
Exactly.
You know, everybody has to come into their own on their own. You know what I mean? So his maturation process is happening a little bit later. I think he's playing a lot harder. And I used to get on him all the time. Hey, man, you got to play hard. You got to play hard.
Yeah.
If he figures that part of it out, I think we got another guy that's, you know, out of the state of Georgia that's going to be a big time player. If he figures that out. He got to figure out the other stuff though, but he's been playing well, and I'm glad you gave him some credit because I think people have been so down on him and people have been, you know, talking about him, which we shouldn't do as kids, but you know, there it is.
It happens.
Their microscope is on you and it happens, but I think he's going to be a big time player at Arkansas if he figures out all the other things. Not the talent part, just the other stuff. Last guy we're going to talk about, well, my next guy is Matthew Cleveland. My guy. I got a chance to coach Matthew this summer. It's funny, when I was at Alabama, Sean called me and he said, hey, man, I need you to come see this kid. I need to come evaluate this kid. I was like, all right, I'll go see him. I think he might have been in his 10th grade year. No one kind of knew about him. To see Matthew from then to now is amazing. Because back then you could see the talent.
Did you see that play?
I mean, that was a big time move. You could see the talent, but it wasn't all coming together. He went over there to Pace, Sharman, great coach. He's worked on his game. He's worked on his body. Matthew Cleveland is a pro in transition. I mean, look at that. That's a big time athletic play.
Yes, it is.
He gets out in transition. He runs. He finishes plays. He defends when he wants to. And I'll say this. He can be a really, really, really good defender when he wants to. When he's locked in, he's a great defender. But look at him in transition. Look how he runs the floor, finishing plays. That's just what he does. Now, what he needs to work on is his jump shot, which I encouraged him to shoot this summer. That's what the summer is for.
Yeah.
And I would tell his dad, and I would tell him all the time, hey, man, they're leaving you wide open for a reason. Take the shot. I think he's gotten better at it. I think he's continuing to work with it. I know his trainer, Kedar, who's been working with him. He's been working with him a lot on this shot. I think the sky's the limit for this kid. Heading to Florida State, which is a program that has done well with wings.
It really fits him. Program fits him.
It fits him. He's done well with guys that are his size that, can play some threes, play some four, multiple position guy, get
long, athletic.
Long, athletic. I mean, hey, Matthew is really, really done a great job of getting better. And now, he has 5-star status. He went from an unknown guy to a 5-star, which, that's a tribute to how hard he's worked.
No question. No question. I think great decision picking a school. When we've done a lot of talking about picking a school, researching a school. I think it fits him academically. I think it fits him kind of culturally, the program that they're in. And I think he's going to go there and flourish. It might not happen as soon as he or people around him might want it to happen. But if he trusts those coaching staff over there and the level of play that he'll get every day and the culture he's a part of, he'll be really good when he leaves. And I think it's a good decision for him.
Big time playing.
You can't teach that. You can either do that or you can't. Last guy, want to get on Miles Rice. I don't think we give him enough love. We've had a big time list today. Great guy. And I think it's been somewhat of a challenge for him to play with Sandy Creek this year because LaBarrie, even though he's not a demanding star, he's a star. And when you get on the court with him, there's no confusion. You're playing with somebody who's special. So he's trying to figure out what's my niche? How do I get in where I fit in? How do I still play aggressive when I'm playing with a player that's so good? Don't force the ball to him. Do my thing, which is going to help him in college. So we got to play with him on the AAU circuit, which is different, though. When you're playing high school and you're playing on the AAU circuit, it's different. So I think he's still in that early stage. But I think by middle to end of the year, if we have a season, I don't want to jinx anybody, knock on wood. By the end of this year, this is going to help him become a dangerous player moving into college playing with a guy like LaBarrie. I think he's silky smooth, really good mid-range guy, extending his range out to three, makes great decisions, true point guard, knows how to play the position, doesn't turn it over, not scared of the moment, gets the ball to the guys where he needs to get to. Now he just has to learn that he's a really good player too. And just because you're playing with a dominating guy doesn't mean you got to look for him all the time. You do your thing, play the game the right way. The ball always finds the right player and the right scorer. So you just play the right way and the ball always finds the right person. So I think this is going to be great for his maturation.
No, and the one thing in coaching him this summer, one thing that's going to help him get on the floor early, he defends.
Oh, I don't know how to mention that. One of the best defenders in the state. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that.
Miles is not scared to defend. He had a good summer down the stretch. I personally think that he should be getting a lot more high major looks. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not saying my opinion is gold, but I think he's a guy that can go to a high major university. He may not come in his first year and be a starter, but I think he's a guy that can help you, and he's a guy that you can build a program with. He's one of those guys that he's going to – obviously, he got great grades.
Good kid.
He's a great kid, well-rounded, well-spoken, and he's going to come in practice and work hard every day. He's a little bit stubborn, but it's not a stubborn where he's not coachable.
Yeah.
And I think because of the pandemic, he's probably not getting some of those high major looks that I think he wants those high major looks, but I think he'll still make the right decision for him because we've had many talks. Hey, man, whatever the school is that likes you, the best school for you that fits what you want to do, especially education-wise because you're a smart guy, that's the school you should go to, whether it's high major or mid-major. So
perfect.
Love Miles. Love him.
Great show today. Coach Shaw, any ending thoughts as we get out of here?
Again, man, just parents, I've been getting a lot of feedback from parents. I've been getting a lot of DMs from parents, you know, about workout stuff, about questions about recruiting and things of that nature. Keep them coming. I'm here. Darryl's here. We're here to help kids. We're Georgia guys, man. And this doesn't just stop in Georgia. If there's some people in South Carolina, North Carolina that need some help during these times right now, please lean on us. You know what I mean? You got our what do you call it? The at
Twitter handles and IG handles.
Okay, you have our Twitter. See, I'm getting old. You have our Twitter handles. Please reach out because we're here to help.
All right. Appreciate everything. Great show today. Hopefully you guys got some valuable information. Please tune in. Watch the other episodes if you haven't seen this episode. Be looking forward to next week. Love you guys. Anything we can do to help, we love you. LaBWork out.
Hey, get your lab shirts. Get your lab shirts.
Let's get it.
Yeah.